Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's a book video. I'm excited about that. Here, if you didn't watch my previous video, or unless this goes first, I'm not sure on the order I'm going to post this, but this is a cute little crew neck my friend got me for Christmas. It says Romance Readers Book Club. I'm a romance girly, so I love this. And yeah, but in today's video, we're going to be talking about all the books. Also, I'm so sorry if I don't look in the camera. Again, I'm filming on my phone. I have to get used to this, but today we're going to talk about today we're going to be talking about the videos that got me out of my reading slump, because if you watched my first video, you know that I came out of a very long reading slump, and I don't believe I talked about what got me out of them in that video. But yeah, so we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. Any guesses? But yeah, these 8 books got me out of my reading slump within the months of November and December. Mainly December, because it was the end of November. It was the end of November when I started reading. But hold on, I want to try and take a thumbnail. Going in, I'm gonna try to do it in order of what I read. So the first book I read that got me out of my slump, the very start of it, was Terms and Conditions, the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher. I read the fine print over the summer when I went to Disney with my best friend for her birthday, because I was like, I really want this book. I had been planning from the beginning of the year to read that book, but I hadn't gotten it, and I had fell into my slump. But then I was like, when I brought it back up to my friend, how that was the book that I wanted to read, she was so kind enough to get me the book so I could read it on our trip. So that was so sweet of her, and I read it, loved it. So then anyway, I decided that what better way to get out of my slump than just continuing that series. So I had gotten Terms and Conditions, and yeah, this was the fake dating one, correct? Yeah, my memory, it's like in one out the other, but I really enjoyed it. I believe I rated this 4 stars. I don't think it's my favorite in the series. I actually don't even know which is my favorite in the series, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was great. And yeah, it was a strong start actually for getting me back into reading, because 4 stars. And I knew it would be, because I enjoyed the fine print. Now, I said I would go in order, but I want to get the series out of the way. Final Offer, I read one book before this, because after I read that, I didn't have this book. But I wanted to read this because it was a new one. I wanted to finish off the series, and again, I rated this one a 4 stars. I'm pretty sure every book in the series I rated a 4 star. I did really enjoy it. I feel like this one is either my favorite or my least favorite. It's so weird. Well, no, it might be my first or second. I don't know. I did really enjoy it, but at the same time, again, I don't really remember in the series which is my favorite. But I enjoyed them all nonetheless, and I'm happy I finished the series. And yeah, Final Offer was great. Then I wanted to start this series because I got the book like sometime, I don't know, I got this book long ago and I hadn't read it. So I finally picked it up and I read Twisted Love. And I thoroughly enjoyed this, though I think I rated it 3 stars. And my reason being is because as I was really enjoying it at first, and I was like, oh, this feels like it could be a 5-star read. But then when it got to the end, I wasn't the biggest fan of Alex and how he was acting. It kind of gave me the ick and turned me off a bit. So I wasn't the biggest fan of it towards the end, and that's why it's a 3 star. But I was so entertained by it, and I have Twisted Games. You can kind of see it right here, and I'm so excited to read that, because the way this book ended had me excited for that. Like, you would think I rated this a 5 stars because of how excited I am to get into this book. But yeah, no, it's a 3 star, but I did enjoy it. I was so entertained. Then I believe my next one that I read, I think this is when I started getting into my holiday reads, which again wasn't many, but Maybe Under the Mistletoe. I had got this to read in 2022 Christmas time, but I didn't, so 2023 got it. And this was my first 5 star in a while. The last book I rated a 5 star was Archer's Voice, that I read like closer to the beginning of 2023. So I was very happy with this book. I think I will reread this every winter because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it a lot. Then continuing the holiday reads, but this was my last holiday read, was The Holiday Switch. I think I gave this a 3 stars only because, but it might be like a 3.5 because I was in between a 3 and a 4. But I figured if I'm not confident in giving it a 4, I should give it a 3. But I did enjoy it. It was a fun, quick little read, and it was entertaining, and I did love the plot of it and stuff. I just think that, I don't know why I didn't feel, maybe because it's short, it's like I didn't necessarily fall for the characters, and so maybe that's why I didn't rate it higher. But it is such a cute read. If you do end up looking for a holiday read and you haven't read this, I do recommend it because it's really quick, simple, easy, and it just reminds me of a Hallmark movie. So does Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, and I love those cliche holiday movies that are kind of cringe to an extent. But yeah, this one was cute. And then I read this book, which was very anticipated from a lot of people, and when I saw it in Barnes, I just had to get it because the cover is stunning, which is Never by Jessa Hastings. And I remember when I bought it, literally the day after buying it is when I started to see people talking about it on TikTok and giving it really bad reviews. And so I second guessed myself with buying it, but I really wanted to get context around what people were saying. I didn't want to just believe what I'm seeing and take that as my personal thoughts on the book because I hadn't read it. I wanted to give it a chance at least, especially because I bought it. But in my mind, it's like if I didn't like it, I was gonna return it. But I actually read I read this in one day, and that's the first book I've ever read in just one day. And that's always been a goal of mine, was to read a book in a day, because before that I had read a book within like the span of 2 days before, which already to me is like, whoa. But I always wanted to read a book in just one day, and this was the book that did it for me. Because as much as this book made me frustrated, I was addicted to reading it. Like I needed to just, I don't know, I just needed more, and it was really entertaining. And you know, I'm not gonna really touch much on what people were saying about it. If you haven't heard anything about it, you can search it up for yourself and, you know, do what you want with the information. I will say though, a lot of people took certain things out of context, which is why I'm glad that I read it, because the stuff that people were saying don't necessarily match up with what actually is said in the book. And you know, there's like certain like stuff about this book that it's from like the original Peter Pan, and it's not necessarily a retelling of the Disney's version of Peter Pan, so don't go into this expecting to love Peter. But I enjoyed it as much as it frustrated me. Like I was actually very irritated reading this, but I couldn't put it down, and I want the next one. Like I need another book in the series now. But so I did enjoy it. I don't think I rated it though, because it's like such a weird feeling for me, because as much as like I enjoyed it and I want another book, I was extremely frustrated reading it. Like I was not happy, except for maybe at like one part, but then that one part ended up crushing me. So I don't know what I would rate it, because I enjoyed it but I wasn't happy. So it's really weird, you know? Does anyone understand? But I did enjoy it though. I did enjoy it. That's all I'll say. And then I've been wanting to get into small town like cowboy romances, which is why I have this series, which, oh my gosh, I listened to the audiobook of Flawless, which I talked about this in my first video, I believe, where it's like I talked about kind of my anticipated reads, but how I didn't have this cover, like the special edition for Flawless, and I can't get it, so I was gonna listen to the audio. I did, and I think I rated it 4 stars. But yeah, so I'm excited to get into these this year. But the first cowboy romance I ever read, I went to a bargain store and I found Cowboy Ever After for literally like $3. Yeah, $2.99. And so I gave it a chance. I think I maybe rated it 3 stars. It was really cute. Again, it gives Hallmark vibes. I did enjoy it, especially like it being my first introduction to like cowboy romances. I don't have any complaints necessarily about it. It's just not like my favorite. Like I wasn't in love with the characters, but it was cute, it was sweet. And also I think towards the end of reading it though, I think this is also why I didn't rate it higher, that towards the end of it I was like rushing because I just wanted to get it over and done with. Like I wasn't really feeling excited about reading it. I was like like, it's not a bad read. Like, there was nothing about it that made me not happy with it. I just think I wasn't necessarily excited about the plot and the reading it and stuff. It's a really cute concept, though. It's about an author who writes cowboy romances, but she's never lived that lifestyle, so her publicist goes to send her to live off with her brother at his ranch for her to actually properly get that experience of life, and then, you know, the romance happens in there. And it was really sweet, and it was really simple, but so I would recommend it. It's just not like wow, but it was cute. But I also think because literally like the day that I finished reading it, I got sick. I got like food poisoning or something, so that might have also been why I wasn't feeling it towards the end. But yeah. And then this is the last book that I'm putting in this video, because I think it was this one, and then I did my reading vlog for 1,000 Boy Kisses, so I'm not going to include that in like what got me out of my slump, because by this point I already feel like I'm out of the slump. But I've read The Midnight Library, and I think I rated this 4, I think. I really enjoyed it. The concept of it is so cool to me, and that's why I picked it up in the first place. I think the reason why it's not a 5-star though is because there were certain moments where I feel like I kept just trying to see how much I had left of the book. Like, I was really trying to like finish it. I don't necessarily know why. Maybe it's because it was like ending of the year and I wanted to have it just finished for my reading goal. I don't know, but I did really enjoy it. Like, I would recommend this, and I love the messaging behind it. It's so, I don't know, I think it was a great read, so I think I gave it 4 stars. It was thoroughly a great read, and I'm glad I finally read it, because I've had this since like 2022. And yeah. Okay, so yeah, these are all the books that I read that got me out of my reading slump, and I thoroughly enjoyed each and every one of them. None of them I regret reading. If anything, I think that this was a perfect bunch of books for me to read to get me out of my slump, because I read the most books within a month that I've ever read, because typically for me I fall into slumps after reading like 3 books in a row and then I'm in a slump. But I read all of these within maybe a little over a month, which is like amazing. I think I read 6 of them, exactly 6 or 7 within the span of a month. And yeah, so I'm really happy with these, and I'm happy that I'm back into reading. And you know, it's great that I'm feeling excited about reading again, and I hope that this phase isn't a phase. I hope it lasts longer. I know I'm always gonna end up in slumps here and there with reading, because I'm gonna want to break, which is why I want to go about it in a different way now. Like, I don't want to force myself to finish books as well this year. I think I want to like allow myself to DNF books, which I have before, but always in the mindset of like I'll pick it back up. Like, I have a few books here, like people we meet on vacation I was reading, but I was enjoying it, but then I got in a slump. So I don't know, but there's certain books I just feel like if I don't like a book, I don't want to make myself finish it. I want to just DNF it, because there's nothing wrong with not liking a book and wanting to DNF it. But yeah, so that's that. Those are the books that got me out of my reading slump. And if you're in a reading slump, and if I was to recommend any of these books to get you out of it, honestly, I do think that the Dreamland Billionaire series, so these 2 books, but also this one, I think that this is a great like series to get you out of a slump. I thoroughly enjoyed them, and they got me out of my slump. If it's like the holiday season and you want to get out of one, then I recommend this, because I love this book. But if it's not like the holiday season, then maybe not. I know I'm a seasonal reader. Like, books like this I wouldn't want to read if it's not December, but or even January. But yeah, but definitely any of these books are good reads to get you out of a slump. And yeah, so those are the books that got me out of my slump. And yeah, if you've read any of these books, let me know your opinions on them. If you have any books that you think that I would enjoy based on these books, if you've read them and you have like books that are similar, let your girl know. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Bye!